We're going to start with Patrick's assignment for shutter speed. And I've looked through these all before. And there's two parts to this photography class and these beginning assignments with a lot of the technical stuff. Part one is photography and art, and trying to get in a photo that is a good photo that would stand out in a gallery or an art exhibit or could be juried for something. And then the second part is basically, did you complete the assignment? And in these, I can see that, okay, we're going for shutter speed. So did you have a fast shutter speed and make all of these cars stop? Well, yes, you did. So you got that. Did you have any motion blur in any of these photos? I don't see that anywhere. I've talked about this in previous critiques that you need to make sure you're taking 100 photos per assignment. Back in days of film, you had 25 or 24 rolls or frames per roll of film. So basically, you're taking a roll of film per idea. So you go from that. So you take 4 different ideas, 4 different shutter speed thoughts, 2 on slow shutter speed, 2 rolls on fast shutter speed. From there, then you take each roll, 24 images, and then you come down to your best image of each one. From these, I see you can stop a fast shutter speed, but I can also see that this gives off that what you were doing was down here, Zaxby's. You were at your photo story location and you took photos of something that was going on around you. You need to go a little bit further. Walk down the street, go to the other side of the street. Find something else that's moving. Find 4 different things that are moving or not moving. I hope you saw my video on cheating your camera and making it, forcing it to make a slow shutter speed. And you saw that I just moved a rose bush to make some movement. You could have walked down here and saw that flag, and that flag is moving. The grass is moving. There's other things. So just think outside the box on this. And I hate using the phrase think outside the box, but you need to do a lot more of walking around and trying to utilize the techniques that we're trying to get, because these first 3 that we've done with rule of thirds, shutter speed, and depth of field are going to completely relate to the rest of these assignments because they're all a lot more artistic. It's not going to be a technical aspect of it. It's now going to be utilize these first terms. It's the whole Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. We've learned how to wax on, wax off. Now you're going to take those and you're going to get an assignment that'll have you utilize those things that you've thought about for 2 weeks on end and use those to make a great photograph. So just start thinking about those and accomplish some a little bit better photographs in these. Okay, so we're going to go to the next person. So we've got Nikki's photos. Okay, so we're going to start here. Okay, so water is a very common photo for motion. It's done every time in my class, and it's fine because water is always moving, so there's nothing wrong with it. It's a very, very simple way to either stop motion or make it move. Either way, there's nothing wrong with it. This one I can see from your settings that 320th of a second, I can't really tell right now if you're trying to stop it or trying to make it move, because I get some motion here, but it's a kind of a fast-ish shutter speed, and it might only be fast because it looks like from back here with this bright green that it was sunny outside. Other than that, I like it, but I think some of this bright light back here takes us away from all this stuff that's happening and what's happening here. I like that you filled the frame with this. I think it was a good job. I like how the blue plays off the green, and you have this dead space where these drops fall in. This thing here, I think you might be able to try cropping along just below that and try getting rid of that color there and see how that helps. This one, also good. I like that you filled the frame. You got that rule of thirds along the top. From this one, I can see that you are trying to stop the motion by getting a 800th of a second. If this F number was lower, so letting in more light on here, you could let in less light here, and even make this stuff stop or be motionless a lot more. This ISO number being at 3200, we can see a lot of this grain in there, and it's debatable on whether or not it hurts it or not. I'm not going to comment on it. It's fine. It's a good image. I like it. Very kind of abstractness. I wonder if you haven't tried it in black and white, see what it looks like in black and white, and go from there. I think I like this stuff down here, and maybe try just almost cropping just below where the sun hits, this kind of aqua material. That's a cool, really abstract photo. Okay, very, very good job on this one. I like how, of course, you've used that rule of thirds. There's a little bit of story going on here along with the book, and the pages flipping through the book. I'm a fan of how you cut this off. Of course, see here how that's very, very bright. I don't know if we could have changed that or not. Let's look at some of the information here. 100th of a second at ISO 80. So 80, of course, is going to be a very, very clear image. You get a little bit of motion here. So, of course, if you would have had your ISO at 400, your shutter speed would have gone faster, and that might have stopped that motion. But I like that motion blur that we get there that shows those pages flipping through. Good job. And I also like that color that plays off nicely with that green brick. Okay, this one I think is the weakest of your images. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You're probably just trying to accomplish, can you get a faster or slow shutter speed? So you did a good job. Of course, all this in the background is very, very, very sharp, and that's a good job. And then he, of course, is moving very quickly, and you're trying to freeze him in motion. So 60th of a second, so that's going to put some motion blur on him. So obviously you were trying to get the motion blur in this image, and you could have done the opposite thing. Make ISO 400, 800, and that shutter speed would have raised up to freeze him if you wanted to. I think since you know how to create slow shutter speeds, I would replace this one with something maybe a little bit more interesting. It's not a bad thing, whether you plan it or not. I like that he's in a color that is opposite of this green, so he stands out from there. And this is so sharp, and you got these straight lines that it works really well, and that you have all of him in the frame. Nothing is cut out. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with this one. You did the assignment, but I would just maybe take that step up and do one a step better than this. So good work on these.